It is Natty Daddy here, um, at the boys' fort at Fort Dickerson National Park outside of Knoxville. Now, I don't know. You remember forts, guys? Girls, you remember forts? This boys' fort is just above the Augusta Quarry here. It has two levels. One for camping. I believe you would do it best with tents below. Now, that could be level 1 or 2. However, nothing has access to the water here except the commercial side over there. But as far as the fort is concerned, camping, I believe, would be on the second level, and the first level here um, is level number 1, I would say. This is off the main trail leading down to the quarry. Now, I don't know. Kids. What's wrong with these kids today? Kind of thing. If you don't want to hear it, turn me off now. It's like, but I'm not the first to complain about young people, men, women, young men, young women, not getting enough nature and enough of nature in the natural world. Um, George Lopez was the first one to sound the call, but he leads like a whole host of other male comedians over the past 10 years that I've been out here that have just really complained about the behaviors of their sons, you know, and the behaviors of other young men. It's like George Lopez in an HBO special from Phoenix years ago, his first HBO special, actually. It's like, get outside. It's like, your mother and I are leasing this place. You don't get it when we die. So, get outside. He ruled the day as a young man when you would go out instead of stay in. You know, home was where you had to go because, your mother was yelling for you or the street lights were coming on. You know, you hated to be inside. You loved being outside. And forts, for those of us who grew up in the suburbs, um, were a blessing because they allowed us to not only get outside, but also to be with nature and the natural and to do certain things that the folks didn't really like us to do in our bedrooms. You know? But the fort allowed the boys to get together and be boys. That has all been lost on today's generation. Everything revolves around house and home and mother. It's no longer nature, the natural, it's like, you know, where have you been? I have dinner waiting, you know. If that's the case, it's where have you been? Well, me and Chanel took off for Boston, and you need to put more money on the card. This hostel is really getting expensive. It's like, and it's sad. I grew up in Penn Hills as a young man in the woods off Idlewood Road. And we used to play ball. Every football, basketball, baseball, wiffle ball, huge fields, sloping though they were, and they were sloping. It was called Penn Hills for a reason. So, all the hills were sloping. But we played, and we played and we played and we played. And, it's like, till we wore ourselves out and went home, fell into bed. I went there about 3 years ago. Went back there 3 years ago. That field is all overgrown. I mean, it's all overgrown. It's all high grass. It's all, it hasn't been mown in years. And there was not one kid on that street. And it is a suburban street. There are no sidewalks. Everything it's a 2-lane road. It's suburbia. And it's, all the kids are inside. Or they're being shuttled to the next, house and home and mother, for a play date. And I ain't talking like little kids. I'm talking like teenagers, for Christ's sake. It's sad, It's very sad that young men, at least as far as I'm concerned, have lost the idea of the answer is not with mom and dad. The answer is outside in your community and the people you meet and the people you get to know. I don't know. It's Natty Daddy from the squatting over the Augusta Quarry there in the Boys Fort at Fort Dickerson National Historic Park.